I think whether you're religious or not, you can't deny that there's a religious thread and a moral dimension running through our culture. You know, you see it in television shows that talk about forgiveness. You see it in movies that talk about good overcoming evil. I started this topic really in graduate school when I was getting my doctorate at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. I talked to my advisor about doing something on religious satire. And this really plays into my background as a journalist. I was a newspaper reporter. I've always been interested in free speech and free press. Going back to the censorship, the satire, the protest movements, I found out that there is actually a pretty vibrant religious left, if you will. We hear about the religious right a lot. This led me to be interested in William Barber. The Reverend William Barber, North Carolina-based minister, activist, head of the state chapter of the NAACP for a while. He is a Disciples of Christ pastor in Goldsboro, North Carolina, actually in the part of the state where I grew up. I found him just a fascinating character. What really intrigued me in terms of the religion and media model was that this really was a poor people's campaign, a protest, a religious crusade, you know, on the part of the underprivileged for the 21st century. He mixed this religious message with a moral message, with a political message, and he was active on Twitter. He was active in writing, as I said, op-eds that appeared in print and online. And his profile has grown larger and larger and larger, probably culminating in his very prominent speech at the Democratic National Convention in 2016. So it's been interesting. My first chapter in my book really documents that first year, how the Moral Monday movement, you know, became a nationwide movement, got prominence. In an earlier era, Barber may have been a prominent voice, but just one more voice. But in a television and digital and online era, you know, he's been roundly criticized, of course, by many quarters on the same digital platforms where he gets his message out. And I think, you know, even when he's criticized, as often happens, your name gets amplified. So even if you're getting negative press, you're getting press. And press does not mean print anymore. It doesn't mean just television anymore. And so, yes, I do think that the digital age has probably amped up the movement and amped up his profile. And one of the things I often talk about is the recently deceased Billy Graham was probably the most successful pioneer of the 20th century in terms of media evangelism, because he embraced radio early on, he embraced motion pictures, he embraced television, and later in life he embraced digital media. And now, of course, that has continued with his son Franklin Graham. And I just find all of this incredibly intriguing and fascinating, and so I will never run out of material.